if you're in a crowded space, you need to be able to differentiate either on price or on features or in some way. And if you differentiate on a feature that you already know there's a need, you're sort of pushing against an open door.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of What's Working in E-commerce. I'm your trusty host, Egan Heath from Asymmetric Marketing. And today's a special episode. I have on my business partner, Mark Hope. We recently joined agencies here, and some of the capabilities that he and his team are adding is Amazon. So I've always done direct-to-consumer, SEO, PPC, paid social, email automation, things like that. You've heard from me about that before. And Mark has expertise in Amazon. So I wanted to have him on and talk about how do we do Amazon product research and discover opportunities. So Mark, welcome. Thanks for coming on.
Good to be here, Egan.
Right on. So I wanted to ask you, how do you come up with ideas? I know you've got your own e-commerce brands. You're working with some of our clients on their Amazon SEO and PPC as well. How do you get the idea at first and understand, is this a good opportunity to sell products on Amazon?
So at the highest level, you have to look for things that are happening in the world, right? So you might see something in the marketplace, you might see something in a Walmart, you might see something in the grocery store, or this website called Exploding Topics that you can get a free membership to, and you also can get a subscription, right? And so with Exploding Topics, they're looking for things that are exploding. And so I subscribe to Exploding Topics. I'm always looking for what, here's an example, sea moss gummies, yum, loop earplugs, AI image enhancer, there's all kinds of stuff here. But I ran across one a while back. I have a site that I create products for dogs. And I was talking to one of our manufacturers in China, and this lady tells me, do you know about tofu cat litter? And I was like, what? Tofu cat litter? She said, no, it's a thing, right? It's low dust, it's low allergenic, it's cleaner. When you scoop it, it clumps, and then you can just flush it down your toilet. You don't have the clay and all the other drama. And I said, sounds like an interesting thing. I have a cat, so I thought that might be a thing. So sure enough, just the other day, after all this time, I get this email from Exploding Topics talking about all the things that are new. And here, lo and behold, my tofu cat litter is taken off. Now, I first heard about it back here, but being the sleeper that I am, I've missed most of this one. But what I think we can do today is talk a little bit about how, if we see a trend like this, what do we do to try to find out if there's more opportunity here with Amazon and so on. That makes sense?
That's great. And this is such a tangible thing. It's a weird thought of this is a food that a lot of vegans and vegetarians eat. And I guess cats can just use it to go on. So that's great. Yeah. And I love this. So you got the digest, you saw it come up at number 2. You thought, gee, I missed it. It's like Bitcoin on the way up, but maybe tofu cat litter's got some more growth here, Mark.
Yeah, maybe. So what way I would go from here is I would just go to Amazon and poke around for a little bit, right? So we can just go to Amazon.com and we can type in an obvious search term like tofu cat litter and see what we see. And sure enough, there's a whole bunch of tofu cat litter. And as I'm looking at it, you see I've got the Helium 10, add-in here, which is going to allow me to get some additional information, right? So I can look across here and see who's selling what. There's 3 variations, one seller coming out by FBA. And if I click here, I can see their sales. And oh, look at that, $104,000 worth of tofu cat litter with this one ASIN, right?
In 30 days.
Yeah, and that's coming out of the U.S. A lot of these are coming out of China, right? Which they're more difficult to get, timely deliveries and so on. Here's another one down here. It's coming out of the U.S. And here we got $183,000 worth of this tofu cat litter. And then here's one that Amazon's selling on their own, $180,000. So you can see, yep, it's a thing, and yep, it's big. And so let's learn more about it. So now, there's a lot of things we can do right here. We can go into the Helium 10, extension. I can open it up here. We can do some things here, but let's just go over to Helium 10 and poke around a little bit. So we take a niche like this and say, I want to learn about, in this phrase, tofu.
And one question I had, Mark, that we've discussed before, I'm used to direct-to-consumer through a website. We use Ahrefs or SEMrush to see their search data, but it's not like we get their Shopify sales data. How does Helium 10 get the Amazon sales data? Is that through an
Helium,
API from
yeah,
Amazon? Are they
Helium
inferring
tends to,
it?
yeah, they have a relationship with Amazon and they extract data, sales data directly from Amazon's API and make it visible to you. So there's some things here. You can see the average price is $28. The average bestseller rating is 74,000. Average revenue per ASIN is 125,000. Total revenue almost $13 million. And this is 30 days. Now they're saying the success score, is low here, and it's because they're saying there's a lot of competition right now. But you take a look at these prices here: $28, $21, $25. Everybody's kind of in the same neighborhood. And when you look at the size, these are 17 pounds, 13 pounds, 13 pounds, 11.3. So there's some difference in sizes, 17 to 13, but the prices go up as high as 34 here. And as you start to dig in, you find out that there are some different fragrances. There's some different characteristics in terms of how granular they are and so on. So you really start to dig in. But the thing you see here for sure is that this is a real niche, and it makes sense, right? There's another way you can do this is you can go to products in black box and you can say, I want to search on Amazon in this category. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to pets. And because we're just talking about cats here, I'll select cats. And we say we're looking for something for cats that needs some improvement, where the competition is medium. I want to sell my product for $30 to $100, and we'll leave the monthly revenue off for now and just do a search. And so
Needs
now
some improvement means the ratings are a little low. Not everybody's happy with the products.
We don't have a bunch of 5-star ratings, right? So now we're looking at all kinds of stuff here for cats. We started looking down there. We got litter trays. Oh, look there, natural paw tofu cat litter. So as we work down through here, we'll see more and more, cat litter and cat litter boxes and other things. But this is an example where we see one of the things that we're interested in here, with this cat litter. So I can click this button and it's going to take me right to Amazon. Let me see this tofu cat litter. And it's like the others, right? You can see pretty good listing images. You can see down here, there's some opportunity to improve their listing. They've got 5 bullet points, but some of them are not particularly big. If we go down here, there's no A+ content, right? So we know that we can do something with that. We look at the reviews. We can look at these 1 and 2-star reviews and learn what people don't like. So for example, people are complaining about value in the pellets. Ease of cleaning is a benefit, dust is a benefit, clumping, and so on. So there's some opportunities here to improve on this listing. And if we look at their sales, you can see that their price has been flat. The price is this green line. It's been flat, looking back over the last 30 days. If we go back over the last 90 days, you can see, and if we look at 1 year, so this particular ASIN had a lot more action, and now it's tailed off. So we don't know why. We'd have to do some more research to understand that. Here's what we see with the ratings. So I would say, looking at this one, their sales net revenue is going up. They did $13,000 worth of sales in the last month. Their listing health score is 8.6 out of 10. So we know we can improve that. We can see what keywords they're using and really dig in here. So now what I'm thinking is, okay, well, now I'm feeling good about this. Let's poke around and see what else we could do. So let's go back to our tofu cat litter page. This is our search page for the niche. And I'm going to use a tool called Data Dive. And when I click on the Data Dive Chrome extension and I open what's called the dive box, it's now going to dig in and let me see some more details, how many ASINs there are, how many brands there are, what prices we're going to see. And I'm going to start to get some really good data here. So here's the search volume, here's the revenue, here's the total sales, median price, reviews are about 4 stars, bestseller rating, and so on. The fulfillment fee is $10, right? So we know if we're selling for 30 and we got a fulfillment fee of 10, we're probably looking at a 40% margin or something like that. I can start to look at all these, and I would go in and look at each one of these. I would make a list of these ASINs. I would use this as my research foundation. You can get a quick look at bestseller rating trends. You can see that a lot of it's coming from China, which gives you an opportunity too, because products that come out of China are slower to be delivered and so on. And so this is another place we're going to get some data to work with. And then finally, I'm going to say, all right, well, if I'm going to source this from Alibaba, for example, what's that look like? So now I'm going to go here to Alibaba, and I'm going to type in tofu cat litter. As you can see, it's not my first time with this rodeo. And here we see tofu cat litter coming out of Alibaba. And you can see the prices, at Alibaba range from 58 cents to 88 cents with a minimum order of 500, right? And you're going to want to go in and check the quantity sizes. But here, this is a 5-star vendor, right? These are people, they're verified. You can trust them. They've been in business for 4 years. They've been, these are good looking vendors. Here's one that we saw already. Because it's got all this Chinese writing on it, we're going to want to find out what the minimum order is for customized labels and so on. But you can see that these numbers tell you if you're selling something for 35 and you're buying it for $1 or $1.80 or 53 cents, as the case may be, there's going to be some good margin here. So the approach I take is find the trend. From the trend, go to Amazon, see what's going on. From there, go into Helium 10, look at the competitors, see what kind of reviews you're getting, what you're up against, what price you've got there. Run a quick analysis of the marginal profitability of this product. Do a data dive to get some more detail, and then go to Alibaba and see how hard it's going to be to get, what the minimum order quantity is going to be, how long it's going to take you to get it, and that sort of thing. So let's just take one and go a little deeper on it here in Alibaba. So if we take this product and dig in, we're going to be able to find out what's happening here, right? So let's just look at this one. So here we see we get some images to look at. We know why choose us. Now these are not consumer images. These are trying to talk you into being a vendor. Here it tells you about the different types of cat litter they have, other recommendations they have, what their return policy is, what their pricing is, and so on. And so if we pick this one, we can see that this one, between 1,000 bags and 3,600, you're going to pay $2. If you get above 10,000 bags, you're going to be able to do it for $1. Shipping solutions are available. You can run an order request from here. You can see that they accept Alibaba payments. They have a refund policy. And what I would do also at this point is I would go in and look at the vendor and learn more about this vendor. Do they seem like people that know what they're doing? Are they reputable? You would get a free sample. You're probably going to pay a little bit for the shipping on the sample, but you can see these guys have all kinds of certifications. So you're going to reach out to this vendor, tell them that you're interested in this product, get a sample, get your pricing figured out, plug it into a spreadsheet, make sure you're going to be able to make money at this, find out how long it's going to take to get it. Once you get the sample, you get all your research done, make your first order. So if you're going to take 1,000 of them, you're going to get a 20-foot container, probably half full. And in many cases, you can work with Amazon and deliver directly from the manufacturer in China right into your Amazon store, and you never have to even take possession.
So I was going to ask, I know you have a warehouse you use for some of your brands and your products. For that first shipment, if you're getting 500 or 1,000, are you receiving it to your warehouse and then you use Amazon as appropriate, or how do you approach that?
Well, there's all kinds of logistics math, right? So you want a minimum order quantity from the manufacturer that's a quantity that you're willing to buy. So let's say you're willing to buy 1,000 of these at $2 a piece, so that's not a huge number. That's $2,000 for the product. Then you've got to look at the shipping cost. Then you say, well, if I'm going to start at Amazon, if I put 1,000 of these things, because they're relatively big, so if I take 1,000 of these and put them in Amazon, the storage fees at Amazon are going to be crazy, right? But I don't want to order 100 at the manufacturer because the minimum order quantity will cause the price to be higher. The shipping per unit will be higher. So what I'm going to do is in between, I'm going to say, ship me 1,000. I'll put them into my warehouse, or I'll store them in my garage, or I'll store them somewhere where I have someplace, room. And then I'll ship 100 into Amazon. And I know that I sort of am minimizing my storage cost in Amazon. I'm minimizing my shipping cost per unit from China and so on. But you have to do all this math. You have to say, if I order 1,000, I can't put all 1,000 in Amazon, or I'll never have any profit. So where am I going to put 900? Right? If you don't have a place to put 900, you need to look at where you could store it, for example. So you have to sort of look at different choices and weigh the pros and cons of each.
Yeah, that's great. And in terms of the needs improvement piece, we had all those 3-star ratings. Do you then work with this Alibaba vendor to improve those pieces? How do you make sure you're getting 4 and 5-star reviews once it's listed and sold?
Well, in this particular case, there's probably not a whole lot of innovation they're going to be able to do on this cat litter, right? But if you had a product, let's say, that had features, let's say it had 10 or 12 different features, and somebody says, like you say, I'm selling this pen, and somebody says, I hate the clip on the pen, right? Because nobody has pockets anymore. Why do you have a clip on the pen, right? So you would then contact the supplier and say, how do I get this pen without the clip? And they would say, oh, you have to order 500 in order for us to take the clip off. And then you say, okay, well, I had an insight from looking at negative reviews that people hate the clip. So now I go back to the manufacturer. And then when I list the product, I'm going to say, we have this amazing pen without that annoying clip. And so now you're basically speaking to a need. So we do an analysis called Love It, Hate It. And so what you do in Love It, Hate It, you take the 5-star reviews and you find out all the things that people like about the competing products. And you want to be sure you have those things. Then you go down to the Hate It, all the 1-star reviews, and you find out what do people not like. And you try to find out, is there something I can do with the manufacturer to address these concerns? And if there is, then you have a product that does the same thing as your competitors. You've got all of the positive attributes and that your competitors have, but you've managed to address the things that people dislike, and that's how your product becomes differentiated. It's not always possible, and it's not always economical, because the manufacturer may say, oh, if you want to start, let's say, for example, these come in plastic bags, and you say, well, I don't want a plastic bag because this is an environmentally sustainable product. I want to have a biodegradable bag. And they go, sure, we can do a biodegradable bag, but it'll double the cost. So you just have to look at the pros and cons. But for sure, if you're in a crowded space, you need to be able to differentiate either on price or on features or in some way. And if you differentiate on a feature that you already know there's a need, you're sort of pushing against an open door.
Love it. Love it. Well, I hope people are getting a sense of why we partnered up here, Mark. This is a great education here in just 17 minutes. So I'm absolutely loving this. I'm curious, now that you've looked at this opportunity, it sounds like there's more spreadsheet work to do, but in the scheme of things, how would you rate this one? Like, are you still interested in this one? Would you explore this further? Was there any red flags where you'd say, no, I'm going to keep doing product research? I wonder if you could just spell out a little bit of how do we know when it's a good opportunity versus there's going to be some snags here?
Well, the problem with a trend like this is you could easily say, oh, I missed it, right? But let's see, this particular point here is 2020, right? So today is 2024, right? So in 4 years, every single year has gone up at nearly exponentially. So maybe I'm going to be unfortunate and I'm going to jump in 2024 and the trend is going to go down from here, but probably not, because I would guess that if I go deeper into this and start looking for, probing the total market for cat litter, how much is bentonite, how much is corn cob, how much is tofu, how much of the various type crystal, there's all different types of cat litter. I'm going to find that tofu is on a trend that's probably sustainable. So you've got to kind of believe in that, and you need to have a story that you can convince yourself that this trend is going in the right direction. And of course, all the sales trends look positive. All the sustainability trends continue to be good. So I'm going to convince myself that the trend is still going in the right direction. I'm going to look at the competition and say, hey, I can get in there with these guys. I can make a brand that looks better than all this nonsense that I see on Amazon, right? So as I look at these brands and I think, well, is this the best brand I've ever seen? Probably not. How about this one? I could probably do better than that. How about this one? And you start to say to yourself, I can come up with a brand name and a logo and a color combination that's going to make me look different. And if I can look different and I can come in at a price that's competitive, I can dig my way into this one.
Love it. All right. Thank you for sharing this analysis, Mark. I know we're going to have you on many more episodes sharing your insights. I hope people are excited about this one. I know I am. And thank you for coming on and sharing what's working in e-commerce.
Always a pleasure.